Hello everyone, I am Candidate Master Atul Dahale and welcome to my Incredible Chess channel. Today we are going to watch, or you can say analyze, the game of Hans Neimann which he has played in the first round of US Chess Championship 2022. Well, lots of allegations are going around against Hans Neimann, and chess.com has even published the report about his cheating in more than 100 games, that is 72 pages report. But there is no evidence that he has cheated in the over the board tournament, and this tournament which he is playing is do or die situation for him, I must say, because we don't know what is going to happen after this tournament or during the tournament. Every day there is lot of scrutiny is going on, lot of checkups are going on, and still despite having lots of pressure around from around the world, you can say, he has managed to win this game. According to Hans Neimann, this is a beautiful game which he has played and there is no need to analyze this game. But we don't really think like that. We are going to analyze this game because there are certain points, or you can say there are certain moves which are beyond my understanding. Okay, I am not a grandmaster of his level, but to play this kind of moves you need to have great understanding of chess, or you can say you need to be pretty good in calculation. Let's look at the game and understand what really went on in this game and how did he win against the youngster Christopher Yoo in the first round itself. So the game started with d4. Christopher Yoo is white, Hans Neimann is black. Here he played knight to f6, knight c3 was played. This is Warsaw system, or after d5 you can say this is the London Jobber London opening. And in this situation he played e6, knight came on b5. This is exactly the opening which Jabbar has played from the white side multiple times, and now the pawn on c7 needs to be protected. He plays knight to a6 and the c7 pawn is protected. Here he plays e3, bishop to e7, knight f3. Both the sides are developing the pieces quite naturally, I must say, castles, and now he plays bishop e2. Almost simple position is going on, but here Hans Neimann played a move which is knight h5, going after the bishop on f4. Well, here Christopher decided to play bishop e5 and provoke f6 move, which Neimann actually played. Here f6, bishop went to g3 square, and now again he played c6, kicking this knight away from the b5 square because there was some pressure over here. Knight c3 was played and now he plays c5. In a way, black has managed to fend off the attacking possibilities on the queen side, I must say, and he is trying to get more activity on the queen side. Okay, so here castling was played. He captures the bishop on g3, h captures g3, and now a move which I was not actually thinking, because when I was looking at the game live also I was thinking that maybe he will capture on d4, or maybe he will play bishop to d7 just to get a rook also in the game and keep playing like that. But he decided to block the game by playing c4 move, which was a little bit surprise, at least to me. His opponent went on to play e4. The point is, like, he needs to do something about his bishop because it is being hammered by the pawns over here. So he plays e4 and now he plays bishop to b4, maybe putting some pressure on c3. He might not capture it, but if it's needed he might capture in future. First of all, he captures on his opponent captures on e5, he captures d5, and now he plays knight b1. Okay, the knight is rerouting towards the d2 square, you can say. Maybe c3 will be played to kick away this bishop. That might happen. Let's see what happens in the game. Knight c7 is played. Of course, you need to get the knight in the game. This knight might go to e6 square or even e8 to knight d6. That is also one of the possibilities in the position. c3 was played. Bishop is under attack, so bishop comes back to d6 square, knight to d2, and now here he plays b5, supporting everything on the queen side and making sure that nothing will damage on that side of the board. Okay, so here white played knight to e1. Here bishop e6 was played, knight to c2. Both the sides are maneuvering the pieces, trying to get more control over the center squares, you can say. Queen d7 and now rook e1, and now here he goes for a5 move. Well, he wants to expand on the queen side. That is something which is quite clear. The ideas related to the rook b8 followed by b4 are always there in the air. So here Christopher decided to get more control of the b4 square, so he plays a3 move, and now everything changes. Okay, until now they were playing on the queen side, but here Hans Neimann decided to play on the king side, and he came up with a very interesting plan, that is g6. He played that move, and with the idea of playing h5, h4. Okay, of course you might need this rook on the h8 square, which is not that common. Okay, if you are playing, you might get this rook on e8 square and play something here on the e file, but he is being very creative in the position. He played g6, of course, with the idea of h5, and then knight to f1. Knight might be going on e3 or maybe on h2 square. Here he plays h5 as per the plan which I mentioned earlier. Queen to d2. Queen is trying to come on h6 square, so king g7 is a very natural move to prevent this queen h6 idea, and also making sure that rook will be having some space on h8 square. The path for the rook is also opened up here. White played f4 in this case, and now rook comes on the h8 square and bishop to f3. Now in this position, he played a very surprising move for me, which is f5. Okay, who plays like this? I mean to say, like, this bishop was having only one open diagonal. The other pawns are already on the light squares, and now he is playing f5 move, putting another pawn on light square, and then this bishop, where are you going to play this bishop? But he had some other plans. Okay, I was reading some tweets also, and they were talking about this thing that black should play h4, which was the earlier plan in this position. Or maybe you can bring the rook on the h file, rook h7 followed by rook h8. That might also be one of the options in the position, but he did not go for anything. He plays a very strange move, that is f5. Okay, after f5 move, Nigel Short tweeted about this particular position, and he said like he will play a rook to e file, rook to e5 without any hesitation. He will just go for it, because it is a very common idea in these positions, because like even if you capture here, exchange down position, you might be thinking, but that's not the case, because after this bishop on e6 is a very badly placed piece, and you can put more pressure on the d5 pawn by bringing the pieces. Even knight d4 is always in the air, and pawn on b5, the bishop on e6 can be captured, and d5 means we will have a lot of compensation, and the domination on the dark square will be there. So that is the plan of action which is there. But here he decided to play rook a2. He wants to double the rooks in this case, and now here Hans reroutes his knight towards the f6 square. Maybe it is going to the e4 square when it is needed. So he plays knight to e8, rook a e1. The bishop is under attack, so it needs to be moved. So he plays bishop to f7. Now he plays rook e5. Okay, inviting bishop captures e5. As I mentioned earlier, after d captures e5, there will be too much domination on the dark squares, and I think white will have sufficient compensation in that position. But he did not go for that thing. He plays knight to f6, and after this, knight f e3 was played, and finally he plays h4 move. Okay, which is quite okay. He plays queen f2, supporting the pawn on g3 square, and now he did not stop the h pawn there only. He goes further with h3 move, and here in this position there was a chance from white side to grab the pawn on d5 square. Yes, the pawn on d5 was hanging. h3 was not the best move in the position, but he did not go for this thing. But just for the sake of clarity, we will see what happens if knight captures on d5. Here you might capture on d5 with your pieces, and if you capture here, of course rook d5 and the bishop on d6 will be pinned in this case. And by any chance, if you feel like, okay, why not capture bishop into e5? Well, you can capture that rook here, but then we will be just capturing, means white will be just capturing on a8, and if you capture it back here, white will capture here. So if you want to regain the pawn, you can play bishop captures f4, queen captures f4. Now if you capture on a8, the pawn on h3 will be hanging. So in order to just save the pawn for the time being, you can play h2 check, king h1, and then you can capture, because these two pawns will be doubled in that position. And I will say, like, even after king into h2, the king will be having one square on g1, and there are 6 pawns from the white side, but the g pawn is doubled, and I think it should be equal. Okay, equal means, okay, white has the e file, but that will be taken care of with rook e8 move. Okay, fine. That is something which was possible in the position, but he did not go for the d5 pawn. Instead of that, he plays rook e2. After rook to e2, he brings the rook on d8 square. There are no threats in this position. Maybe bishop into e5 can be played, but he plays queen to e1. Okay, until this position he is saying like if you want to capture on e5, capture it, but Hans Neimann continuously ignores that threat and he continues his play in the center of the board with knight e4. After knight to e4, g4 was played, and now series of exchanges happen. Finally Hans Neimann says like I'm going to capture the rook on e5, and he captures here, d captures e5, which we were thinking, h captures g2, rook captures g2, and now this is the movement which is beyond my understanding, I must say. Okay, I'm being very honest. Here he played the move that is rook h3. To play this move you need to have great ability to calculate the variations, because here of course like if you capture it here you cannot capture it back, but you can play a move which is rook d h8, which is a very strange move, I will say. Okay, to see everything like this, but that is not the point. The point is e6 move. Okay, you need to calculate this move. If you calculate this move, then only you are saying like, oh, you can say like, okay, rook h3 is a good move. And now the queen and the bishop both are under attack, so bishop into e6 is forced. G captures f5, bishop captures f5, knight captures f5, check, queen captures f5, and now bishop g4. When I was looking at the game live, I was puzzled what to do in this position. The rook on h3 is hanging, the queen on f5 is also hanging. Okay, I was thinking like maybe queen will capture on g4, and white needs to give up the queen, and then you can proceed. But the surprising move in this position is actually rook d h8. The idea is very simple. If you capture the queen, rook h1 is a checkmate. Amazing, right? And if you don't do this thing, what are the things? Like, okay, you can try to run away with king f1, king e2, but then you will lose the queen very simply. Just capture it here, and okay, you are losing the game very soon, and the queen is also lost. So that's something which is there. Okay, in this position bishop g4 was not played. He played knight to d4. After knight d4, queen f6 was played, and here you can say like black is exchange up. He doesn't need to worry. White's king is completely exposed in this position, and black should be better. And he went on to win the game also. This was the 40th move, and after bishop into e4, he played the best move in the position. Okay, you can capture here, but that is not the best way to play. Rook e8 is the best move, and this is the 40th move, and he managed to complete the time control, and now their time was increased, and the rest is not that difficult, I must say. f5 was played, rook captures on e4, the queen is under attack. Queen f2 was played, rook e h4. The idea is to play rook h1 check and mate. Here he captures on g6, queen captures g6, f captures g6, rook check here, king g2, again a check, king g3, rook captures here, and exchange of position. This should be a cakewalk for him. Rook h2 check. Now the b2 pawn is going to fall. King e3 was played, rook captures on b2. There is a possibility to create the pass pawn with b4 move. King f4 was played, and now he captures the pawn on g6, king e5. Finally he prepares for the pass pawn. b4, a captures, sorry, not a4, a captures b4, a captures b4, c captures b4, c3. The idea is to play c2, and he plays b5, and here again a very good move, I must say. He plays rook into b5. Okay, that was not needed. Even c2 would have been good enough. Even if you capture here, there is no issues, because king is going to come here very soon. Even if you push the pawn, you don't need to worry, because you can play king e7. If b7 is played, rook b2, king c6, and now you have king d8. So the pawn will fall definitely. Okay, but here he finished off the game very quickly by playing rook into b5, and after knight captures b5, he plays c2. The pawn cannot be prevented from queening, and after king d4, his opponent decided to resign the game. So this is the first game of Hans Neimann Moke. Very impressive, I must say. And let's see what happens in the next game. We will be coming back very soon with more interesting content on the channel. Do like this video, subscribe to my channel if you are new here, and I'll be coming back with something interesting. Goodbye, take care, and love you all.